Of Deputy Catherine Connolly.
Ar banna ma ceisle galia fihe agus an bhfuil sé bartaí agat éon analíse dhéanamh an 5 milliún atá caite. My question relates to Galway 2020 and does the department intend to carry out any analysis of its own BAT in relation to the 15 million given the recent chapter from the Controller and Auditor General?
To date, €14 million has been drawn down from the total commitment of the €15 million from my department to the European Capital of Culture. Of this €14 million drawn down, €13 million has been spent on the development, production and delivery of the key projects under Galway 2020 Cultural Programme, most of which were set out in the original winning bid book. From the date of signing in November 2018 of the performance delivery agreement between my department and Galway 2020, and as per the terms of the PDA, my department has and continues to be in regular receipt of detailed information on how funding from my department is spent. This information includes comprehensive quarterly management reports providing progress updates in all aspects of the Galway 2020 project, including the cultural programme, as well as a breakdown of project income and expenditure, which is confirmed through quarterly checks by an independent auditor. Relevant quarterly reports are reviewed by my department as part of the controls in place in advance of the approval of funding drawdowns. Furthermore, under the terms of my approval in July 2020 of the restructured cultural programme for Galway 2020, which was developed in the wake of the impact of the pandemic on activity, my department meets with Galway 2020 on a fortnightly basis to discuss and review project progress. Also under the terms of the approval, my department received a monthly written report from September 2020 to April this year on all cultural programme projects supported by department funding. This monthly report provided information on events planned and delivered, health and safety measures in place, identified risks and mitigation, communications and audience development measures. In addition, the cultural partners supported from department funding are completing the post-project evaluations with Galway 2020. These evaluations provide information on the numbers employed in each project, the number of events held, partnerships developed, audience numbers, volunteers engaged, and income and expenditure. My department receives and reviews the reports as they are completed. Finally, and as advised to the Deputy on the floor on 22nd of June last, the overall monitoring and evaluation programme of Galway 2020 is now at an advanced stage. The final report from this programme, scheduled for delivery before year end, will include results on the number of cultural organisations supported, the jobs created to deliver the programme, new projects commissioned, events held, Minister, audience numbers and a breakdown of total income and expenditure.
Thank you, Minister. The advantage being less Cloncorley is I've read the answer, so forgive me for being a little impatient because you haven't addressed my question. Does the department intend to carry out an analysis, bearing in mind the 12 very succinct pages from the Controller and Auditor General, who points out the department had a nominee on the Board of Directors, but that nominee never got any minutes, had no role. There has been a nominee on the board, no role. The department did not receive the terms of reference of the subcommittees, the minutes of the board meetings and so on. There's been a huge turnover. Of the 28 original people, there are only 2. In addition, a declaration was never forthcoming that was absolutely necessary in relation to co-funding, where there's co-funding and where the money was conditional on money coming from the private sector. That wasn't included in the... I'm lost with the time, sorry now. Okay. The performance delivery agreement didn't include that it was conditional. There are serious questions here for the department, Minister, and I say that reluctantly because I sat on the Public Accounts Committee. I drew it to the department's attention what happened in relation to the picture line in Galway, where the cost escalated, and they were to learn from that, Gormagat.
Thank you, Deputy. There's a number of questions there to answer in 1 minute. All capital of culture designations carry with them a wide range of challenges in terms of delivering on their broad objectives. And in the case of Galway 2020, these challenges have been made more acute by the fact of the global pandemic. Nonetheless, even against this challenging background, much was achieved. 350 Irish-based artists and other cultural professionals completed their projects, delivered commissioned original work with over 500 events online or to live audiences. I am completely supportive of the highest levels of transparency and accountability in the use of public funds, and that is why my department continues to meet with Galway 2020 to assess outcomes as part of its ongoing monitoring role. In addition, I welcome the scrutiny that my department expenditure received by the CNAG and note that my department is committed to the implementation of the recommendations set out in his report. I also look forward to the report of the Audience Agency, who are at present carrying out the evaluation under the Galway 2020 Monitoring Evaluation Framework. This exercise, which will capture feedback from a wide range of stakeholders, will inform decisions on the purpose to which the remaining legacy funding will be applied, and this is my principal focus at present.
Yeah, the analysis that's been undertaken is costing 200,000. I asked in relation to the department, let's see what the Controller and Auditor General said. Recommendation: the department should put in place robust controls to ensure compliance of future grantees with relevant grant management and reporting requirements. We have a situation where the department is a nominee on the board of directors but is unaware of anything, which begs the question is, why do we have a nominee at all on the board? The second matter in relation to 50% of the funding was conditional on private funding. It wasn't included in the performance delivery agreement. Nor what could it be explained to the Controller and Auditor General, and I'm paraphrasing the report, why that wasn't done. So here we have a serious lack of overall. I welcome, actually, there was a new General Secretary and there was a hands-on approach in relation to it. But somewhere along the line, we've got deflected with COVID and the bad weather. And I agree that they've been particularly unlucky, but that doesn't take from the absence of robust controls.
Thank you, Deputy. In relation to the query in relation to the 50%, in the 2014 decision by Government to exercise Ireland's right to nominate a city to be Ireland's 2020 European Capital of Culture, it was noted by Government that the intention that Exchequer funding would not exceed 50% of their overall financial costs. The 15 million in funding for the department was subsequently included by the Government in Project Ireland 2040 without a provision to limit percentages in respect of overall costs. Notwithstanding this, the impact of COVID-19 in Galway 2020 activity and funding resulted in significant anticipated funding not materialising. This included in excess of 1 million local authority funding, partnership funding and boxer seats. This directly and substantially contributed to the department funding exceeding 50% of their overall costs. My clear focus for Galway 2020 has been to maximise the potential for the culture and creative Galway and the surrounding region. It would have been unconscionable to withdraw support at a time when projects had been years in development and were days, weeks or months for delivery. I'm aware there are other issues that you brought up there, Deputy, in relation to the CNAG report. I'm happy to follow up in writing because the time has run out, but I'm quite happy to follow up in writing with that of the officials. Okay.
Thank you, Minister.